Good afternoon, and welcome to the Truth Factor, where we do headlines with an attitude, and we have just a few. Uh, Happy New Year's Eve, everyone. Uh, we'll have a special Bible tonight, Lord. The Lord's given me a word, and I want to share it for the new year. And so I hope you guys will join me later. I'm not exactly sure what time it is going to be because I am going to take a nap, and it'll probably just be later, guys. Um, so we will hope to see you later for Bible and prayer for the new year. I am going to do communion. We haven't done communion in a good minute, and I want to do communion. So those that want to do communion later with me, please join me for that. Anyway, God is so good, and we are so blessed to be here. Truly am. But let's get into the headlines, guys, because we do have some crazy headlines. Let me. I don't know. Sometimes I come right up. Sometimes I don't. You know, it's one of those things. I'm going to share myself out real quick, guys. Lots. Okay. So there we go. Let me do this. I'm so crazy, guys. Give me just a second. All right. Yep. Got it. Sometimes I kill myself trying to get ahead of the game, right? Anyway, God is good. So, like I was saying, let's get into these articles. Y'all didn't come to watch me just fibble and fumble around here. So, let's get into it. Sometimes it takes me a second to get my fingers working, guys. God is good, though. All right. Hal Turner. There's other people. Zero Hedge also has an article about this attack here. But anyway, we're going to cover the Hal Turner one. U.S. Navy sinks 3 Yemen Houthi boats after an attack on the Maersk Hangzhou container ship. So the United States Navy has engaged boats operated by the Yemen Houthis in the Red Sea. 3 Houthi boats were sunk and their crew killed after an attack upon the merchant container ship Maersk Hangzhou. The U.S. Navy helicopters from Eisenhower Carrier Strike Group and the USS Gravely engaged the boats, sinking them and killing the crew. The official report says on December 31st at 6:30 a.m. Sanaa time, the container ship Maersk Hangzhou issued a second distress call in less than 24 hours, reporting being under attack by 4 Iranian-backed Houthi small boats. The small boats, originating from Houthi-controlled areas in Yemen, fired crew served and small arms weapons at the Maersk Hangzhou, getting to within 20 meters of the vessel and attempted to board the vessel. A contract embarked security team on the Maersk Hangzhou returned fire. U.S. helicopters from the U.S. Eisenhower, the CVN-69 and Gravely DDG-107 responded to the distress call, and in the process of issuing a verbal calls to the small boats fired upon the U.S. helicopters with crews served weapons and small arms. The U.S. Navy helicopters returned fire in self-defense, sinking 3 of the 4 small boats and killing the crews. The 4th boat fled the area. There was no damage to the U.S. personnel or equipment. As a result of today's attack, shipping giant Maersk to suspend ships' passage through the Red Sea for a period of 48 hours. Commander of the U.S. Fifth Fleet, Admiral Brad Cooper, the Yemen Army in Yemen, shows no sign of ending their attacks in the Red Sea. The Yemenis are ready to destroy American warships. Sometimes I almost don't even want to read his comments, guys, because hi there, Daryl. How are you, honey? Sometimes it's like I don't know. It can be more of a headache than not, but we'll give it a go. If it gets a little crazy, guys, remember these are his personal opinion and not my personal opinion, and we'll be good. The admiral is incorrect in his reasoning, but is correct in his judgment here. I believe the Houthi army is drawing in American warships for a reason. It seems to me the terrorists do not operate in open like they're drawing in massive attack forces they cannot counter without a plan in place. My guess is Iran has developed some new toys with the help of Russia and China and plan to test them out soon. In my view, the Houthis are not a terror organization in traditional sense. It's a massive anti-Zionist movement that aims to unite Yemen against the Arab Zionists, similar to Hezbollah. I give the Houthis a lot of credit due to their lack of money, nutrition, etc. They embarrassed Saudi army big time going against the American military equipment, wearing sandals and using old Soviet weapons. Watching their fight against Saudi Arabia over the past few years was impressive. They eventually gained independence against Al-Qaeda Saudi rulers. Also, they were probably one of the poorest nations on earth, yet have managed to completely stop global trade to Israel. The U.S. can send in carrier groups all day, but to what end? We don't have any surge capacity to invade a nation like 2002. People think the U.S. and company can just bomb these countries and the war is won. A very short-sighted opinion. Updated 11:43, as Coverty says, but within the next few hours, an ultimatum will be announced by the collective West to Yemen. So if you want to know what it is, you'll have to go and you looked at how this one, yeah, I tend to look at him quite a bit. He seems to break things a little quicker. Sometimes it's quicker, sometimes it's not, but for the majority it is. Then we also have Belgrade, Russia hit by Ukraine missiles, and Abrams reported crossed the Russia border. At least 18 people, including 2 children, have been killed and 111 injured following a Ukrainian attack on the center of the Russian provincial capital of Belgrade. The Russian Emergency Ministry reports the governor Galapagos said on Saturday that the attack on Belgrade, about 30 kilometers, 19 miles from the border with Ukraine, had hit a residential area. In social media posts, he urged all residents to move to air raid shelters as sirens sounded. I don't know that I want to move whenever, being bombed like that, guys. I don't know. Belgrade borders Ukraine, Luhansk, Sumy, Kharkiv regions, some of which were hit by Russian air raids on Ukraine on Friday in what was one of the deadliest attacks since the war began in February 2022. The death toll rises to 39 from those attacks. Belgrade is about 600 kilometers, 373 from the Russian capital, Moscow, and has been a frontline region serving as a vital base for the Kremlin's armed forces to launch attacks towards Ukraine. Cluster munitions used against civilians. Kyiv employed rocket carrier cluster bomb warheads in the strike against the Russian border city of Belgrade. The Russian defense minister stated on Saturday, labeling the attack a crime. This weapon type has been banned by more than 110 nations under a UN convention dating back to the 2008 due to the extreme danger it possesses to civilians. Ukraine did not sign that treaty. Russia's defense ministry said in a statement that the attack would not go unpunished. The ministry said its anti-aircraft units had destroyed 13 Ukrainian rockets over the Belgrade region on Friday. And Russian forces shot down the 32 Ukrainian drones across the country, Moscow officials said earlier on Saturday. Drones were seen in the skies over Moscow, Bryansk, Oryol, and Kursk regions. The ministry said in a statement all the drones had been destroyed by the air defense, it added. NATO supplied weapons used. Russia on Saturday requesting a meeting of the United Nations Security Council to discuss the deadly strike. They demanded that the representative from the Czech Republic also attend because the rocket debris in Belgrade points to a Czech-made modification of the baseline BM-21 Grad MLRS. The Czech version named Striger and the RM-70 VAMPIR has almost double the range of regular BMP Grad launchers, making the attack on Belgrade possible from inside Ukraine. The Czech Stiga 122mm rocket is a long-range variant of the BM-21. It can be fitted with a cluster warhead. The Ukrainians started receiving them in November. NATO-supplied weaponry are not supposed to be used to attack interior Russia, but only for Ukrainian operations inside Ukraine. The Czech Republic refused to send representative to the Security Council meeting, saying that the permanent representative of the Czech Republic will not take part in a meeting of the UN Security Council in connection with the shelling of Belgrade by armed forces of Ukraine. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic, Jan Levitsky, announced on his page on the social network X, "We will not allow Russia to call us anywhere. We will be happy to attend the UN Security Council when Russia wants to discuss the withdrawal of its troops from Ukraine," the foreign minister wrote. The US and UK blame. Great Britain is behind the shelling of Belgrade, said Russian Foreign Minister spokesperson Maria Zakharova. In his speech to the UN Security Council today, Russia's permanent representative to the UN, Vasily Nebenzia, described the shelling as a premeditated act of terrorism against civilians, acquiring the Kyiv's Western supporters share the responsibility for deaths. The West is complicit in the crimes committed by the gang in power in Kyiv, the diplomat said. We know that British and American consulates were directly involved in the organization of this terrorist attack. He warned that organizers and perpetrators of the strikes will be punished. Russian aerospace force placed on high alert. A covert intel source in Russia has told Hal Turner radio show that Russia's Tu-22M3 shown below and Tu-95 long-range bomber fleets, i.e. all of them, that's crazy, have been placed on high alert. A significant strikes are being planned on Ukraine for January 1st and the 2nd. This source alerted of similar developments on May 3rd in real time and was found to be 100% accurate. The M1A1 Abram tanks enter Russia. A single report coming from the border village of Shabinko, Russia, claims that the M1A1 Abram tanks are visible inside Russia, headed toward Shabinkino. The map below shows this area. Okay, so here's the reports, and there's the area. The source says that there is a battle in Bikino area. The enemy has broken through the border of the homeland. Abram spotted. This is no joke. You will burn. Tagnant Israel is very frightening sign that Russia has had enough and is escalating Russian forces inside Syria late today. Began directly shooting down Israeli guided bombs and missiles heading into Syria. Russia has not done this in the past, allowing Israel to do what it felt it had to do. Today, that changed. Today alone, Russian forces using the Pantsir-S anti-aircraft missile system shot down at least 10 Israeli-guided bombs and at least 3 Israeli cruise missiles, and as they entered Syrian airspace. Hello, Watchman. How are you? And it just goes on and on and on. You look at Steve Quell's website first. I got you, brother. I haven't looked at Steve Quell in a long time. I don't know what it is. Just was kind of, I don't know, just directed in a different direction, I guess. Anyway, but he's a pretty good guy. Let's see. We also have this here, guys, from War News 247, which just basically confirms that Ukraine crossed the Rubicon. The blind attack with needle weapons and cluster bombs against civilians and children entered the center of Belgrade. Carnage. So here is, again, I'm just going to read this right here. Ukraine launched an attack with NATO weapons and cluster bombs against the Russian city of Belgrade, even hitting the Christmas market in the city center. There are over 14 dead and 108 injured, including children. Now, guys, the other one said a little bit more, but we're not, who knows which one was updated and which one wasn't. This is just, you guys know when I can give specific confirmation to, some of the articles I do. And this here is here if you would like to read it. I do want to go on to this. Now, the question that I had this morning after seeing this, and I saw it right before I had made it to church, and I always, before they start singing, I'll sit there and I'll scroll through the news headlines. And right before I had to turn my phone off and sit it down, I saw all this stuff breaking, and I thought, wow, you know, this isn't gonna settle well with Russia, right? Thinking that they could, possibly retaliate for that. And sure enough, whenever church is over with, boom, bomb, beat a bang, boom, end time headlines: Russia vows revenge after Ukraine strike on city near Ukraine border, killing 14. Um, So Russia said 14 people, including 2 children, have been killed, 108 injured in an indiscriminate Ukrainian strike, allegedly including cluster bombs on Russian provincial capital of Belgrade on Saturday, and vowed to retaliate. The Belgrade region, which adjoins northern Ukraine, has, like other Russian border zones, suffered shelling and drone attacks all year. The authorities have blamed on Ukraine, although none have previously been on such a scale. So, let's see. No official news website quoted. Russia Defense Ministry vowed revenge for the deadly strike on Belgorod, claiming that Ukraine's military had used the so-called cluster bombs in the attack. This crime will not go unpunished, the ministry said in a statement about the strike on the city about 30 kilometers north of Russia's border with Ukraine. At least 14 people dead. So again, more confirmation that, Russia's not happy with this. I don't think that they would be, but then we have, let's see what Daryl is saying. Rubicon 2024 cosplay. I got you, brother. It sure can, Watchman. It sure can. Let me see. Let me get this. Oh, goodness sakes. That wasn't the one. There we go. Yep. It definitely can. Maybe that is. And I hate to agree with you on that, Watchman. I really do. It saddens my heart to see all these things taking place. Anyway, let's get into the next article, because I think this is very, very telling. But guys, if this is taking place, I would tell you that there's probably going to be some sort of switch in the very short, distant future. For Mexico to dump the dollar, that's huge. Absolutely huge. For the Mexican retailers to refuse the dollar, I mean, I would tell you, if we even have another month, I will be shocked. I'm telling you, this is absolutely, I'm not, a guru when it comes to all of the finance stuff, but I'll tell you, this stuff is the writing is on the wall. People are not paying attention. I know. They think, oh, it'll be okay. The dollar will never fall, but never say never, right? Hey, faith over faith over fear. It's huge. It is huge. Okay. Mexican retailers refusing the U.S. dollar's solo peso. In years past, Mexican businesses would welcome and prefer the U.S. dollar for transactions. Not anymore. According to the video below, about 90% of Mexico retailers are now refusing to accept the U.S. dollar. In the video below, an American who goes to Mexico regularly talks about what he is noticing, and it is not good. Vendors all over Mexico are refusing to take the U.S. dollar. Let's listen in, guys. If we prayfully, we can understand him. Oh, hold on. Hold on. Got to have. Well, hold on, I got to reshare this too, guys, because you guys know, as it goes, we don't make sure that thing there is switched over, you won't get the audio. There we go. All right. Hey there, Dr. Joey. And Iraq stops using the dollar too, right? We got a lot of stuff taking place. Okay, so we got to do this quickly, like.
What's going on, everybody? I am in Mexico right now, actually Playa del Carmen, about to go to the gym. But I wanted to point out a phenomenon that I've noticed because I've been coming to Mexico a lot over the last couple of years, and I've been coming here for over 20 years in general. However, in the last year, something very strange has started to happen. Before, when you would come here, when you would pay for something, if you pulled out American dollars, they would prefer it over pesos. They would literally beg for it over pesos. Now, I'd say around 90% of vendors, including gas stations, most restaurants, and every small vendor, solo peso, no dollar. They don't want American dollars. They don't want you to pay card either. They'll charge you more, but at least they'll take it. Most will not even take American dollars. So what the hell does that tell you about the so-called world reserve currency that's currently the walking dead, already dead and somehow still afloat and not collapsed? But even the average Mexican business will no longer accept your American dollar. And if they do, they'll give you an exchange rate of like 15 pesos per dollar. Yeah, it's getting scary, guys. As for the US, you guys got to wake up.
Wow. And I have to agree with him, guys. Absolutely. And let me share Dr. Joey's comment. Because this is so true. I think I have an article in the community tab that talks about this. If I don't, we'll check it here in a little bit. But absolutely crazy, is it not? I mean, guys, this is very concerning. If you're not concerned, you should be. Okay. I mean, it is absolutely just astounding. To say the very least, to hear that Mexico is refusing the dollar and going to say that you have to give them, if they do accept it, 15 to 1 of the pesos. That is unheard of, guys. I mean, when is the peso more valuable than the American dollar? Are you awake yet, guys? And yet it still keeps going and going and going and going, right? What's up? I just can't see. I mean, how in the world, guys? How in the world is it still going? I don't know. Now, Dr. Joey's a money man. I guess how is it still going, Dr. Joey? I hope you have a very safe new year as well, brother. God bless you. But goodness sakes, I just can't imagine why or how, Mexico can refuse the dollar and their peso being more valuable. And this just isn't the talk 101. I can't even imagine. I just can't. This should be on front page of every newspaper, but yet the only place I found it was in Howell Turner. They're not going to let this get out. I wouldn't think. I would think this is, they want this hush hush going into the new year, right? How's the dollar even going these days? Goodness sakes. Anyway, we'll we'll continue on. We got more headlines, but goodness sakes, this is crazy stuff happening. Crazy stuff. Okay. Oh, mercy, guys. And then we have heads up for weather models calling for a blizzard January 7th, 8th, and 9th. Are you in the blizzard zone? I hope not. The National Weather Service Global Forecasting System, the GFS, is predicting blizzard conditions in the east for January 7th, 8th, and 9th. As a major low-pressure system moves up the east coast, heavy snow is shown on the computer models. Here's a screenshot of the January 7th segment of the GFS computer model. Wow, guys. That's even got a little bit of, I believe this is Indiana. So that should cover you, Daryl. I believe it looks like you might get some snow. We're kind of down here, so probably won't get too much. We're in the lower part, but it is definitely cold, colder than normal, I will tell you. Than it has been, not more than normal. December is usually a cold month, and we're going into January, the colder of the months, as per se. Of course, predicting the weather over a week out is not anywhere near exact science. Computer models are just that, models. They can and do often change. But this is worth a heads up to everyone to prepare just in case. And so I am. Baby girl. Guys, Avery had a bad night last night. She woke up early this morning with a fever, and she just was not. When she come up, she looks all kind of crazy right now. Her hair going everywhere. No snow for Washington. You're in a major drought. I got you, Watchman. Did Mike Morales rest in peace? I hear you. It's friggin' cold today. It is indeed. It is. It is cold here anyway. So for what it's worth, there's the pre-warning, I guess, for a few days in advance. Anything that could have you better prepared, right? All right. So guys, we have seen so much talk on this that it's just almost ridiculous, but we would be not smart if we don't prepare and know the enemy's plan, obviously. And I'm saying that anytime you're trying to control people's, purchases and what they can have in their house, this is crazy, absolutely crazy. Dr. Joey says the BRIC nations are adding more nations tomorrow to their monetary system. I bet they are. Anyway, Biden administration unveils this multiple eco regulations in the latest appliance crackdown targeting fridges and freezers. Wow, you thought the gas stove and fryers and things of that nature were the last of it, right? But now the administration has unveiled an environmental regulation Friday targeting multiple popular home and commercial appliances in an action that will impact millions of Americans, but which federal officials said would help curb carbon emissions. Guys, they're going to have you have the smallest of the smallest in your house when it's all said and done with, right? All to save carbon emissions. Guys, I just don't even know what to think anymore. But I'm reporting what everybody wants to know, right? You want to know about these crazy, you can have one, yeah. What the craziness is taking place and how they're trying, and what part of your area they're trying to control next. And here we have the Department of Energy both finalized new energy efficiency standards for residential refrigerators and freezers and proposed standards for commercial fans and blowers. Overall, the agency said the actions would eliminate 420 million metric tons of dangerous carbon dioxide emissions over the next 3 decades and save thousands and businesses $5 billion a year on utility bills. Today's announcement is a testament to the Biden-Harris administrator's commitment to lowering utility costs for workers' families, which is helping to simultaneously strengthen energy independence and combat climate crisis. Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm said in a statement. The DOE will continue to move quickly in 2024 together with our industry partners and stakeholders to update and strengthen outdated energy efficiency standards, which is critical to innovation, more consumer options, and healthier communities, she continued. The DoD standard for refrigerators and refreezers will be implemented between 2029 and 2030 and mark the first update to standards impacting those appliances in more than a decade. According to the announcement, the updated standards, which will take less efficient but cheaper models off the market, will in 30 years remove the amount of emissions generated by the combined annual emissions of 12.7 million homes. Now, guys, this is all in that bill that we read, not all of it, but some of it, about, those carbon emissions, how they're going to come into your home and test and all that other good jazz. So yeah, I could see everybody's going to have to buy new appliances. It looks like that's the next agenda, right? Slowly but surely, they'll control every part of your life. This is where we're going. And the way it looks with every state, unless the Supreme Court steps in and does something, with two states opting, Trump out of being on the ballot. There's an article that talks about 20 other states, and it just seems like a big nightmare. Do you think they're going to give up control? I don't know. Then there's an article in this, in the For Your Eyes section, or maybe I don't know. It's in here, guys, but talking about them, signing up those illegal immigrants for votes. Yep. It's crazy stuff I'm hearing. Crazy stuff. It's just absolutely insane. We have Chicago's mayor grand plan to stop crime crisis. Our reparation checks. Yeah, that's it. We're going to give those enslaved African Americans a reparation check at the checks every month to end the cycle of violence in the crime-ridden metro area run by radical progressives. Okay, guys. So while speaking to Poppy Harlow on CNN this morning, Wednesday, Johnson acknowledged Chicago was plagued with out-of-control violent crime and declared that the full force of the government would solve the crisis. The brilliant idea from the mayor: $500,000 in reparation checks. These are the first dollars spent in this city to begin the process of studying both restoration and reparations, Johnson said. He said, when residents who have experienced neglect and disinvestment for generations speak out of their pain and their trauma, their administration and the Black Caucus, we hear you. So I guess they think reparations will stop the violence. I know that I don't think money solves, everything. It'll solve a lot of things, but I think it just won't be enough. They'll want more and more and more, right? Anyway, we'll see how that goes, right? Then we have from Zero Hedge, the cartel gunfight erupting with Mexican military near Arizona port of entry. Okay, guys, so before we go any further, let me go over here to our community tab. Because there was an article that talked about that the other day. Okay, so we have 5 states and hospitals bring masks back, if you are not aware. Then there's the Russian missile traverses Poland. That was the other day. U.S. border overrun. And that was the article by, but he gave there was an update to it, but it sounded like it's the same thing from here. So I'm sure, it probably is. Anyway, a byproduct of the Biden's radical open border policies is a rapid deterioration of the southern border. Footage from Friday shows an intense firefighting involving cartel members and the Mexican military occurring down the street from the Lukeville, Arizona port of entry. Reports are coming in about a large firefight south of Lukeville, POE, and Arizona between the cartel and the Mexican military. Gunfire can be heard and small explosions. Possible vehicles are on fire. It is unusual for this type of direct contact between the cartel and the GLM at the area. Former ICE field director John Fabricatore wrote on the X post on Friday. This is an incredible gunfight between the cartel and the GMO. Hear it. We'll see. Wow. That's crazy. Two other videos show the incident area closely resembling the war-ravaged streets in the Middle East. Let's see what it looks like, guys. My goodness sakes. That is absolutely crazy. Does look something like in a third world country, not the streets of Arizona, right? In the United States. But if anything, these days, you can say that we are living in abnormal times altogether, because there's things taking place that, I mean, come on. We shared an article about Mexico refusing the dollar and charging 15 to 1. I mean, give me a break. It's pesos, right? Anyway, go figure. We are not in, this is the new norm, guys. I don't know where we go from here, but, we've got to be thinking ahead. I keep saying the Lord gave us a warning, and many people thought I was just probably some kind of nut job. But, I bet you a lot of people are wishing they would have, took me up on that. Anyway, here we go. All right. Let's see. We also have from the Gateway Pundit, a miraculous Indiana man survived 6 days in a truck wreckage before being found, drank rainwater to survive. An Indiana man miraculously survived 6 days inside his wrecked car after he crashed into the creek on December 20th. Matthew Room, 27, defied the odds by enduring 6 days while trapped inside his crashed truck, nestled in a creek beneath a highway in northwest Indiana. According to the first responders on the scene, Room survived 6 days drinking nothing but rainwater. Room was discovered by two fishermen who were scouting for new fishing holes. Oh my goodness sakes. According to Sergeant Glenn Fifield of the Indiana State Police, the two fishermen touched the body and the person turned their head and started talking to them. So that got a little rise out of them, I bet. Room was airlifted to the hospital in South Bend, where he is currently being treated for severe injuries. The two fishers discovered an Indiana man alive inside the wreckage of his car after it crashed on December 20th, leaving the man stuck for 6 days. That is, my goodness sakes, guys, that vehicle, it's a miracle the man did survive. My goodness sakes. That's crazy, isn't it? Then we have here, guys, again, it is New Year's Eve. A lot of people, Hoosiers rock, I keep saying. I'm telling you, how the man survived is just beyond me. Goodness sakes, God is good, right? And then that he was found. France deploying 90,000 soldiers and police for New Year's Eve, citing a very high terror threat. So France is getting ready for New Year's Eve, kicking it off with 90,000 police officers and soldiers nationwide for New Year's Eve celebrations, right? On a very high terror alert. Guys, this is crazy. And again, they're not giving any specific threats, but they're prepared. I think it's absolutely crazy. But anyway, I hope that you all have a wonderful, wonderful New Year's Eve, and that you stay safe. You keep your head about you if you're going out. Me, myself, and Irene here, we're going to stay in. We're going to stay in. We're going to go get some stuff for our dinner tonight, but we're staying in for the most part of it. Got to run my son to the store. And that's what we plan on doing. And then we're just staying here, and like we always do. And I'm going to have a special Bible tonight. I told you. I got to take a nap though. Right. Anyway, we have the 4-year ice section. There's quite a few articles here, guys. We have the poop crisis trigger bacteria outbreak. Disgusting. I just couldn't bring myself to cover that one, guys. I'm so sorry. Then this one here, guys, I feel it's very important that we get the latest on all of this information. When, people need this stuff about the flu and all that good jazz. And here Trump is warning the market crash. 1929 Great Depression if he doesn't win. I think we're already gonna see that even if he did win. I think that if we make it to November with the dollar still, and no crash before then, I don't know how that it's possible, guys. If we make it that far, it'll be a miracle. Anyway, we also have political consumers are rejecting the Great Reset, right? Then we have the Gateway Pundit also going viral with new evidence suggests there never was. Yeah, you have to see that one, guys. And then here is some stuff about the Epstein list that's supposed to be coming out and things we already knew. So don't be shocked when you read some of this stuff, guys. Then we have Trump warning Democrats they'll are using the migrants to win elections. So guess what? Again, going to be a crazy year. So buckle up. Anyway, what are you going to be at a homeless shelter for, brother? Yeah, you won't be in no homeless shelter. We don't claim that. Don't claim it. Don't claim it. Don't claim it. Anyway, I love the easy bake oven thing, though. You're in sad shape if you can't keep an easy bake oven. Just saying. Why wouldn't they let you keep an easy bake oven? Anyway, I hope you're in better shape than that. Oh, no. You stay at a homeless shelter? Oh, Daryl, brother. Oh, mine. I had no clue, brother. I had no clue. Well, we are going to put you on our prayer list, brother. And I am going to, brother, this is crazy stuff. I had no clues. I really didn't. We're going to pray for open doors for you, brother. Dadgummit. Wow. Yeah, and life seems to take its turns and twists, don't it? And when luck is down, it's down. And it's hard to come back up. It really, truly is. I mean, I'll tell you, I can tell you, my mom, her and my mother found herself in a homeless shelter. I can't even remember how long ago it was. 30 years ago. It was a long time ago. And she was a truck driver, but for whatever reason, she couldn't do the truck. My dad was driving her crazy, but they all ended up together in this shelter per se. But it was her drive to want to get out of that situation and not ever end up back in there. And she pulled herself together and she went to school, and she does have a master's in mental health. And let's just say she's never looked back, right? But it took, I don't know, I think it was like 6 months for them to get out of that situation. It was really a bad time. And I mean, it's one of those things that, I hear you, brother. I do. And there's many reasons why people end up there. And sometimes it's just how it goes, but it's either you want to, you don't want to see yourself back into that position or, but the way that the economy is going, it's so crazy. Oh my goodness sakes. That's crazy, Daryl. Absolutely crazy. Oh man. See, this is why we need to have this property so that I could just help people out like this. I mean, I really wish I had the money for this property. I've been talking about it for so long. I need property so that I could put up some, shelter and some little bitty, mini homes or whatever you want to call it, or pop-ups or trailers, whatever it takes to get, our family off the streets. And I am so sorry to hear that, Daryl. I really, truly am, brother. And that's sad. That is sad. And especially when it seems like, there is an increase in homelessness in our nation, and to be closing shelters, that's just absurd. And see, that is so sad to even hear that, Watchman. That the Salvation Army is actually where my mom and them went, and they helped them considerably. They put them in a program, and they were able to get back on their feet. And I don't think they were there 6 months, but it was it was a it was a bad time. It really was. And her and my ex-husband did not get along, so she wouldn't come stay with me. So go figure. It sounds like it, Daryl. It does indeed, brother. Well, I am going to be praying for you. I am, that the Lord will open doors for you, brother, like you've never seen. And that Starvation Army, I hear you, brother. I'm I know every place and every corporation, they have their seasons, where, things may have worked then, they may not be working now. I mean, obviously, I've been to Mexico a couple of times, and I went shopping there, and I'll tell you, it was quite the reversal on the peso versus the dollar when I went. And just hearing this is completely, and I'm just in utter awe, that it has switched so drastically. So we can only see that things in our economy are not so great, and the dollar is not doing well. So things are going to probably go from worse to worse for a lot of people. It's absolutely crazy, brother. Man, Daryl. I really did not have a clue, brother. I did not. But I love you, and I am going to pray for you. I wish I could do something for you. I really do. Absolutely. There you go, Watchman. I wish I could. I mean, I don't know. I know you're in a different part of Indiana than I'm in, even. But I wish there was something I could do for you, brother. I really am trying to think. Man, it's one of those, and that's just going to make my too cold to get out of the downtown area. I got you, brother. No worries. Yeah. And I know, and you got to do what you got to do, right? I mean, but I'm going to pray that the Lord will open a door for you, Daryl. I know. And some people can do it. Some people can't. I am one of those people. I like structure and like having a roof over my head. And so, but but God has different plans for different people in different ways and different things, right? We all have a different path to take. Absolutely. Especially in this cold weather. And if there's going to be snow, Daryl, my goodness sakes, brother. Oh my goodness. Anyway, guys, y'all, it has been so much fun today. I'll tell you, I'm kind of bummed out now because I did not know that before, Daryl. And I love you, brother. I do. Goodness sakes. I will definitely add you to my prayer list. Yeah, they're talking about snow next week on the blizzard conditions. And it looked like, if you didn't catch the first of it, Go back and watch. Let me see. You don't have to go back and watch nothing, brother. Let me give you that article real quick, because that would put a damper on anybody and everything. I think I'd make plans not to go nowhere. Here it is. See, they have a weather model for calling for blizzards for January 7th, 8th, and 9th. Now, guys, mind it, this is a couple of days away. I hear you, Daryl. I hear you, brother. But I love all of my family here, guys, and your family to me. Okay, so now, if I'm not mistaken, that little baby right there is where we're at. And this is the upper portion that could be getting that winter mix of snow, right? So now, again, this is a forecast for January 7th, which is we're a week out, right? So things change, as you know, pressure sometimes don't make it all in on the time that they should. It's the weather. God can, direct the clouds and the rain and all this in a different direction. But I'm going to tell you, if it gets too much colder and we got any precipitation right now, we would have some snow. Yeah, we don't want that. And that's north of you. Good job. It's north of me as well. I'm down a little further than that, but yeah, for anybody that's going to be in that area right there, you're going to get hammered. It looks like some snow. This looks like rain over here, but go figure. Anyway, just wanted to share that with you. Bloomington is in a bubble. I gotcha, brother. I gotcha. I gotcha. Anyway, I love you guys. I hope you all have a wonderful New Year's Eve. We will, like I said, have Bible a little bit later. I'm going to go take me a nap, and we will be back and ready to go. And again, I hope to see you all then. Love you guys. Have a wonderful day. And God bless you, Daryl. We'll talk to you guys later. God is so good. And I love you all. Have a happy new year. Bye.